We would like to pay a moment here at the Super Reliable Studios for our love and roots in Japanese pro wrestler to give a moment of silence to the passing of the great Osamu Nishimura, a heavy influence for the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura, previously involved in New Japan Pro Wrestling, trained by the likes of Carl Gotch, Dory Funk Jr., and Tatsumi Fujinami. Of course, you all know that Samu was basically found dead, literally, after stage 4 esophageal cancer. Again, folks, judge your feelings for tomorrow's they are guaranteed. Arigato. Thank you. Well, and it's once again that time, folks, here at the Super Reliable Studios with Super Reliable as we give you our top tens and our personal opinions, matches for the month of February. And indeed, it was another incredible month of professional wrestling, damn it! And I don't digress. Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again here to your first trifecta of Conda here at the Super Reliable Studios this Saturday, as this is March 1st. Welcome to March. And we are, of course, Super Reliable, Noah Foster. Excuse me, I just woke up. Like a sinus headache. Noah Foster, welcome to Cruz, subscribe. And again, hope you all enjoy the conversation reactions. Maybe there's a match that you've already seen. Maybe there's a match you haven't seen. And again, we hope that we encourage you just to laugh, enjoy wrestling too. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, subscribe, especially this man, PayPal the Passions. If you want to dictate the conversation, super chat, as simple as that. Thank you to Jim Borey and Lily for tuning in. And for those that are tuning in, not even commenting, maybe we'll surprise you with a match that we pick from as we look at all things wrestling. Shout out to W fam. Well, they're good to see you since we started this last month at the end of January into February. Here we are at the end of February into March. And again, I think after your baptism by Japanese pro wrestling, the fact that we had the Fantastic Mania tour, we've had pickups and unique circumstances in both Noah and MLW. W and NXT has given us something to think about here. TNA, maybe some good TV stuff, maybe some moments, but I don't know. It's going to be a unique month, I think, this time to see what's on your list, especially. And of course, for me, my highlights of February are going to include heavily Stardom. But again, we'll talk more about that here in a moment. How you feeling, man? How was February for you, professional wrestling?
First of all, I'll give a shout out to my aunt who I just found out passed away today. My mother called me right before we went live, crying and telling me. So yeah, hug and kiss your loved ones because you never know when that time is coming. But yeah, I'm glad I have wrestling as an escape. I can tell you that much. But the month of
Amen.
February, I was a bad boy. I didn't watch as much as I should. But last night I stayed up. I don't know how long and baptize myself in all wrestling so I can make sure this list is accurate and came across some matches that weren't on my list and I had to like pretty much break apart my list and redo it all last night. So I'm tired, but we'll get into it.
I admire the commitment. And hello, Charles. And I want to give a shout out to Ash as well. Please subscribe to her channel, Batty for Wrestling. I'm sure she'll have a link in here pretty soon, too. And maybe me and her will talk New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Cup coming up. And again, there'll be some stuff we're going to talk about that we're going to hype up so far that's on our watch schedule. Don't know if we're going to live watch it here because, again, we do have to wear pros or patches, of course. But there also is a lot coming up in March before we come up to the most ridiculous month of the year. So yeah, Walter, I'm proud of you. I respect the foregoing effort, especially with the fact that Fantastica Mania just ended literally yesterday. We also had, of course, Ring of Honor with the Lucha Libre showcase. So this should be very interesting. And maybe this time JJ won't chastise you. So without further ado, because we're on a limited time schedule, we're not trying to go super crazy here, unlike the fact that Super Crazy might be on the list. Let's get into it. So as always, folks, for those that are tuning in first time, we each give our own personal top 10 of some of our favorite matches and moments for the month of February, including a couple of honorable mentions. We usually start with one honorable mention each, then we basically segue between each one of us when it comes to our matches that we've ranked, and I don't rank stuff, so again, this is complicated enough for me as it is. Then we'll have one more honorable mention before we talk about our number one match, and then maybe we'll talk about overall what we're looking forward to so far in March, and then we'll bid you all a fine adieu. So let's go ahead and first start with an honorable mention here, shall we? So, Walter, let's go ahead and kick first off with you. What's one of your two honorable mentions for the month of February?
I don't know if I can break it down in
Break
the
it down.
hang on.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Wife's tapping me. I guess I could see a piece of her or something. She doesn't want to be seen. All right. Hold
Move
on.
the camera. You're exposing stuff. Continue.
Yeah. But I'll start. I'm trying to. I think I have 3 or 4 of these bad boys in here. So,
Interesting. Look at you, Mister Over Enthusiastic. But yeah, if you want to just punch
and you
those
didn't
together
know
towards number one, just go for it and just pick one for now. Honorable mentions aren't ranked; they're just mentions.
exactly. So here we go. I will. Let's start with. Let's see. Which one would I do? Boom. Here we go. If you want to bring up the graphic.
Oh,
Uh,
I
uh, uh.
love it though. Please talk about it.
We're going to go. Last night, I stayed up all night. For those who don't know, Fantastica Mania is a lucha libre meets Japan style where everyone interacts with one another. It's a lucha libre style match. It's a yearly thing. But of course, for Tanahashi, this is his last one. He said this is it for him. So I had to bring this as an honorable mention because it's going to be his last one. So I mean, how can you not? And this will come up again. Just spoil alert. This will come up again this night because the whole event was just awesome for me. So that'll be my first honorable mention. And of course, Tanahashi got to leave with a win, interacted with the crowd. The only thing that annoyed me about that night was the damn air horns. Like, oh, like you
That's
watch
a
the event,
thing,
right?
dude. Yeah,
I
man.
know it's the thing
Mexico
they
as well.
do,
It's a
but
thing.
holy hell, that was annoying after a while. But I tell you what, Def Rebel, watch Japanese wrestling because goddamn the music is so awesome. Like the entrances wrestlers get to use in Japan and Mexico are so much better than what the hell Def Rebel comes in. But I know JJ is watching and we're gonna do the best of Def Rebel. They can make some bangers, but Japan and Mexico they really have bangers, and I, I don't think they have a royalty issue because I've heard some music that I know is real music. So I don't know.
That's
Maybe
fair.
that's why.
That's fair. And honestly, when people think of Fantastica Mania and New Japan Pro Wrestling, you think of the likes of Sobrano Jr., Hechicero, you think of Mystico and Hiromu Takahashi and their continued feud. And of course, the heart of it, Los Granables de Japón, of course, Tetsuya Naito, Titan, and Bushi. So I love the fact that you literally put that in, considering that was at the tail end of the month. And yes, as Tanahashi is on his final road. And of course, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to coming up this month when it comes to the fact that he will be challenging for that Heavyweight Championship. Talk more about that later. Hello, Dale. Good to see you. He here has an honorable mention that happened on TNA last Thursday with agitated by Egelins being Spitfire's personal concierge for 24 hours.
There he is. I told you he'll pop up.
Say his name and he will type. We appreciate JJ, even though Death Rebel still sucks.
I told you they
Appreciate you,
do got
brother.
bangers though. We gotta appreciate it.
You're gonna
Like the
you're gonna
fact that
try and prove me
Roman.
wrong. He's gonna send me a
The,
playlist, and I already promised him, as I'm a mystical man, my word. He sent me the playlist. I will listen to each theme for 15 seconds, and then I will immediately say this is shit or this is adequate. That is a promise to you, JJ, personally. If I could be part of your top 10, I actually will be, if that means that much to you to hear my opinion. But again, that's far down the line. And stay tuned for more opinions when he hosts the Saturday Shenanigans for Jeff Meach's birthday celebration at 11 p.m. Standard Time. Now, we watch the Elimination Chamber together, folks. Happy birthday, by the way, Jeff motherfucking Meacham. All right, well, I love the fact that JJ's here because I also have a number of honorable mentions too. As I only look at all things wrestling, I look at the moments of wrestling. I look at the critique, I look at the technique, I look at the art form, I look at the style, I look at the combat, I look at the presence, I look at the finish. And one of my honorable mentions is fuck you, JJ! Blue Thunderbomb freaking won! Damn it! Kanosuke and Akechka taking on Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington for an AEW International Championship Eliminator match on the Chris Jericho Rockin' Wrestling Ranger Cruz. As Kanosuke and Akechka and Tommy Billington fought on the top deck, it was a very game bout. Tommy Billington, of course, for those that don't know, literally today's Dynamite Kid. You remember that name? He is so well proficient in the ring. But again, Kanosuke decked him out of midair, hoisted him up. The power of the Alpha is extremely impressive. But the fact that he won with the Blue Thunder Bomb warms my heart so much to know JJ can never say the word never again when it comes to this move. And I'll take that as a moral win. And again, I've been impressed with Tommy Billington's work so far in AEW and RLA. Still very young in his career, but he's already been in the reigns of lights of Konosuke Takeshita and Katsuyori Shibata and Chris Jericho. So that goes, I think, to a lot of people's pedigree in respecting Dynamite Kid and what they think could come from him. So that's one of my honorable mentions. And I just thoroughly enjoyed that match and that show. These special Ring of Honors, Lucha Libre, freaking AEW ROH, when it becomes more a permanent thing, the Jericho Cruz. Honestly, this last month had some of my favorite Ring of Honor shows since Tony Khan freaking acquired it outside the pay-per-view. So yeah, I definitely put this one as an honorable mention.
Makes a lot of sense. And I knew you were going to do that because of the freaking Blue Thunder Bomb.
You damn right I am. Blue Thunder Bomb is such a beautiful move. Passed down by Jun Akiyama to the Alpha, like the freaking German suplex. And for those that don't know, he's from DDT Pro. And I think it should be considered more of a finisher that wins matches. All right? And I hope that's not just a one-off. So that being said, again, we're not going to be in this all night. We're already 10 minutes in. We're having enough fun. Let's go into our top 10. Starting with a Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears, perfect 10. And I'll go ahead and kick things off here because, like I said, I truly do enjoy all things wrestling. If I'm not calling something with you crazy yahoos, I literally am watching stuff in and out of YouTube, whether it's Rev Pro or whether it's please subscribe today. Hi, Dan, Pro Wrestling Eve, where Punk and Underground meet under the wildest of women's circumstances. You can ask Alex Winston about that with her match with Charlie Morgan, where they beat the living shit out of each other. But this was a fun show, but this was also an incredible homecoming. My number 10 is the first ever match between Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, of course, a former Pro Wrestling Eve champion. Alex Windsor, who literally said since coming back from injury, of course, a record-setting two-time Rapper Undisputed Women's champion, she dreamed of having this match. And originally, they were only going to give it 20 minutes, but due to the circumstances and, of course, the pedigree of these two women, they gave them 30. And they went above and beyond the 20-minute mark. I think it was about 23 minutes. In the end, the Hayter raid hit an Alex Windsor, got her head up, but Jamie Hayter, like she gave Julia Hart respect, she said, Alex Windsor, you're one tough bitch. And it was a great way to bring Jamie Hayter home where I first discovered her. I still go back and look at Jamie Hayter's genesis when she was not necessarily orange hair. She was more of the pink and the black and the wild platinum silver that Mariah May would love to face for the Women's World Championship. I wouldn't mind seeing that one more time myself. Always, I'm a hater for life. But yeah, it was a great way to bring Jamie Hayter home, and she still got it. And I hope to see more of her in Pro Wrestling Eve, as I hope to see her again very soon in AEW. And this was a tremendous match for me to see, and I'm very happy for Alex Windsor that she got this dream match too. And again, thank you, Dan. Subscribe today to Pro Wrestling Eve, folks. You'd be really impressed with the shows. And apparently coming up soon, it'll be Nina Samuels, who everyone fucking hates, defending her both Pro Wrestling Eve World and I believe their mid-card titles in a triple threat match. So stay tuned for more on that. Pro Wrestling Eve right here on YouTube. Subscribe today and join. So yeah, that's my first one.
All right. Good start. I knew we all know you're a hater, so I knew she would find a way to be on your list. I honestly didn't see the match, so can't say much. But my number 10.
Wow, show too.
Yeah, my number 10. We go to Japan. It's the reason it's low on the list is because it's not really the match that was awesome. Don't get me wrong, the match is awesome. It's the aftermath and what the hell we're gonna get next, in my opinion. Because you want to talk about a loose cannon, we're gonna have a loose bald bastard of Umino. Like, do we really want to see what this dude is gonna do while he's bald? Like, he's already pissed off. So we're going to Japan for this one, and we got the Great Okan, which isn't the first time he's met. I mean, how many times have these two gone at it? Versus Shota Umino. It was a hair versus hair match to the point where Umino loses. If you want to get the graphic up for me while I keep talking about it for him. This is why we got dual producers.
All right, where's your graphic? Where's your graphic? I don't see it. I'll go ahead and get it. Just continue talking.
All right.
But yeah, that's from the new beginning. Great stuff. Continue.
New beginning 2025. And Umino didn't even let Great Khan cut his hair. He literally took the clippers from him and cut his own damn hair, which is why I'm a little afraid that he's going unhinged. And he might be the Japanese version of the loose cannon, and I'm scared of what he might do in the future as the bald headed bastard, is what I'm calling him. That's not a name that they gave him. That's what I call him now.
I mean, it's one of those things though where Shota Umino has had such an incredible start to his 2025 on such huge highs, but I don't think he's gotten that favor from the Japanese wrestling fan base. And when it comes to delivering in the biggest moments as his own, on his own, where he seems to channel so much of Shono, Naito, Moxley, Osprey, I think that the pressure got to him, and Great Khan is trying to tell him, if you want to really become something here in New Japan, stand out on your own here, young kid. I think Great Khan doesn't take him necessarily seriously. Why Great Khan has 23 different martial art disciplines, former KLBW champion, and a much more recognized and I think respected name in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I can kind of understand why you chose this, and I am curious to see what Shota Umino becomes, especially with the New Japan Cup coming up, because he very well might be involved in that as a major player. I don't know if he's going to win it, though. But I like the fact that you have Great Khan. Oh, hell. And again, we haven't heard or seen Shota Umino since New Beginning, to your point. So good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel here joining the fun with his top 10. His top 10, number 10 from last night's SmackDown. The 6-woman tag with the Prodigy, Roxanne Perez won the match. Can she make history and win the Chamber tonight, even though Alexa Bliss hit her with the Sister Abigail? We'll find out soon enough. Again, stay tuned. Studio Live Studios will be covering the next Chamber tonight. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be our kickoff as we go live at 7 p.m. Standard Time into the actual show. But we usually start live 6:30 p.m. Standard Time. So stay tuned for more on that. All right. Well, that was easy. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move into number 9. So since I started off with number 10, you can go ahead and give your number 9 first. So what's number 9 for you, Walter Cruz?
This was from AEW Dynamite. You know what? It was just a fun damn match. Like Orange Cassidy versus Kanosuke. Listen, like seriously, the match was fine, but what got me is the fact that Takesha broke Orange Cassidy's glasses, and the man just digs in his pocket and has a backup Ray-Ban. Like, what the hell is this?
Freshly squeezed rule 101. Always carry an extra pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses.
But it was a good, hard-hitting match, and it's good to see Cassidy back because he was off TV for a little while. I was kind of wondering what the hell happened to him.
He hasn't been seen since World's End.
Yeah, and the fact that these two had fun, and then Don Callis tried to break the second pair of glasses, but he got his glasses back and did his move. But we know Takesha is not losing until he has to defend his title upcoming, which we are covering that, right?
You damn right we're fucking covering Revolution, and I will be testing it out on Max.
Yeah, so newsflash, spoiled my prediction. That's where I think he finally loses. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But this is a fun AEW showcase, so that's where I went with number 9.
I mean, again, Orange Cassidy, you can say what you want about the character, but the resilience of Orange Cassidy is incredible. He leaves on the edge of your seat like, oh my God, he could actually win this, especially when he countered Konosuke Takeshita's bastard driver into a forward roll, trying to trap the legs. The way that Orange Cassidy can get a trap pin out of nowhere sometimes is ridiculous. For anyone to have a heart attack thinking Orange Cassidy shouldn't be this damn good or shouldn't win this. Came this close, but eventually Konosuke put him down with a raging fire for the win. Great stuff, Walter. All right. Well, as you all know, again, I love to look at all things wrestling, but I'm a huge advocate for women's wrestling. And JJ might chastise you with the fact you have not mentioned this company first. JJ, believe it or not, my number 9 is a match from NXT. My number 9 is the 6-woman tag from NXT TV. Julia, Stephanie Valkyrie, and Jordan Graves versus Fatal Influence. Not only was this Jordan Graves' official in-ring debut, signed as a WWE superstar to NXT, but it was an incredible 6-woman tag from the beginning. You really could tell how well Fatal Influence comes together as a perfect unit with experience, potential, and of course, Jesse Jane with that previous tag team championship level accomplishment in NXT. Why, of course, we have Julia and Stephanie Valkyrie leading NXT with both the NXT Women's North American and the Women's Championship. Of course, their friendship and the respect for one another goes all the way back to Corrigan Hall last year in February. And Jordan Grace says she wants gold. Well, she's with the two with the gold. And this was an incredible trios presentation. And honestly, I think you're looking at the next 6 women to lead WWE, in my opinion. Those 6 right there are the leaders of NXT. Mark my words. Respect. So that's my number 9. And Danielle joining the fun. I love that. Folks, you also want to do this as well. Please go ahead. Number 9 for Daniel, by the way, is his NXT match. Also, he picked Moose versus Lex King for the Iceland Championship, which was an incredible moment itself, considering Moose has said he has nothing but gratitude for these last couple of weeks since he's crossed the line. But yeah, this right here was probably my second most favorite trios match for women's wrestling I've seen all month. And that's saying something from WWE branding. So well done, NXT, and well done to all 6.
These the 3 women on the one side, Julia, Stephanie, and Jordan, are the present and future of the women's division. Seriously, they're 2 of the. Matter of fact, probably all 3 of them are going to get fast tracked to the main roster. So enjoy them while we can on JJ and I's our NXT, damn it, because it may not last too much longer because they're going to get fast tracked. They're way too popular. They're way too strong. They're like, I'm glad that Jordan went to NXT though, because damn it, the women's division on the main roster isn't the greatest, and she deserves to be at the level she's at. And I mean, just look at the end of Vengeance Day when Jordan Grace stared at both of them when they had titles. Like that was they say pictures are worth 1,000 words. If you get a still image of that, just look at that, because eventually the 3 of them are gonna clash, right?
Oh, you know it exactly. The JJ saying, "I'm proud of you." Once upon a time, not too long ago, Tommy used to work on the docks, and Noah claimed this was not his NXT. Damn it! Like I said, JJ, time can change a person's opinion if you allow them to grow, and your NXT did that. So well done to the Black and Chrome. Let's see if they keep up. All right. Let's go ahead and move into our number 8. And I'll go ahead and kick things off here. Believe it or not, staying with the WWE, it's not NXT, but it's actually not even women from WWE. It's the main roster. And it actually goes all the way back to the beginning of the month, because I can't remember the last time I saw a WWE one-on-one championship ladder match that was that damn physically brutal. Jesus Christ. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes try to literally break each other's spines with every ladder possible before Cody got rid of KO with an Alabama slammer off the announce table through a ladder, buckling the man in half and folding him like an accordion. This is one of the damnedest violent matches I've seen in WWE this past month. That's saying something for a company that I don't think is nearly as extreme as AEW or TNA. But I also love the hostility, the bad blood, and the partisan crowd that really thought KO deserved to win. So I had to give Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes that respect. And then seeing Sami Zayn not even going to try and prevent Cody from reaching the title, but staying there by his friend, not getting involved here, but still was an integral part in the ongoing story that, of course, we're going to cover tonight and what could be their very last stand. I had to give this match its respect. And honestly, I think I enjoyed this than anything else more in its entirety on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Yeah, I won't say too much because, spoiler alert, this match is going to make another appearance because it's higher on my list. But my number 7 is Noah's number 8. Yeah, Daniel, I think looking at this, a couple of me and Noah have the same things, just ranked in different orders. But then again, he watches more wrestling than I do. Yeah, that was an awesome championship match. But let's see, where's my number 8? I'm going down to NXT now. Mine is Hardy versus the No Quarter Catch Crew. And it ain't so much the match. Don't get me wrong, the match is the, pun intended, impact of the fact that the Hardys have returned to WWE, fresh with their own merchandise, fresh off a Legend contract. The crowd, it's like, go back and watch this and just listen to the pop when Hardy's music hits. And like, they had to walk around that small arena because they couldn't get into the ring because of how many people wanted to just touch them and cheer. But 2025, Matt and Jeff were in NXT in a WWE ring again. And how fast has anyone from TNA gotten WWE merch? WWE merch was worn that same day. Like, pretty much signed the Legends deal by like Monday, Tuesday, they got their own merch on. And I feel like soon and very soon it's going to be a main roster. But the Hardys and No Quarter Cash Crew for me is number 8.
Well, again, and Cincinnati, Ohio, from the British City Music Hall. And again, I love these smaller venues. They feel far more wrestling passion than the big stadiums that are just there to fill seats at blood freaking ridiculous prices. I can respect that. And again, it's the first time the Hardys ever were involved in NXT. Of course, we know they came back to WWE back all the way at WrestleMania 33, which was kind of mid in itself. But that moment was also huge as well. But again, and of course, this finally set up with Santino Marella. I think even more important than the match was the fact afterwards, Santino Marella came out to his own WWE theme. That just warmed my heart. You can tell how much he loves that music as well. As he made it official that the Hard Boys will defend the TNA World Title Champions against Roxham at Roadblock. So I'm looking very forward to calling that with you all. And overall, it was just a really great moment. And Wynn Sinclair, definite fangirl. If she could have cosplayed as Lita that night, I bet you she would have. So
yeah, she got caught. She got caught doing the Jeff.
Yeah,
like, and they looked at her. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
I mean, yeah. Look, we're fans of this. Even workers, I think, still hold that passion as a fan. So when you have that moment, hey, why not express it? So kudos to her. All right. Anyway, good stuff. Daniel, real quick here. I guess Daniel loves this stuff too. Feel the wrath. That's a good number 8. He picked Mercedes Moné versus Harley Cameron for the TBS Championship at Grand Slam because Harley Cameron's homecoming. So a great choice there, Daniel.
James will be happy with Daniel.
Well, James had his commentary moment of the night when he got to call a puppet, and he called Mercedes Moné a puppet. And I think he cannot wait to call Mini Monet again. Will Mini Monet ever show up again? That remains to be seen. And JJ here with a quick note. Not trying to talk trash, but I hope you guys make a note of these venues that NXT is using. They would be good use for my Collision. JJ,
yes.
Racing Music Hall was used for Maximum Carnage for AEW. I think WWE is now following what AEW has been doing since the beginning. That's helped them in their TV presentation, to your point. AEW hit that building first.
To be honest, I think they are taking it from TNA. They see how TNA builds the rings in the smaller arena, and and WWE is like, that works, and that because if you look at the way they designed the ramp too, even at Full Sail, it's exactly the way TNA does their ramp and connected to the ring. I feel like we said, as this whole relationship, TNA gets exposure from WWE, they get recognition, and they get everything. And I think ideas come from TNA towards WWE, and then production and stuff can go from WWE to TNA, because Lord knows their production and their hype videos and things like that need help. But the design of the ring and the ramp and how they use smaller arena, I think that's exactly why NXT started doing this. It's more that they took it from TNA, not AEW.
Well, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, I think both WWE and AEW took it from TNA first because I always considered TNA the company that did it first. If it wasn't for TNA, would you have the caliber of incredible talent that you have today or that wrestling strength you see in the business today? TNA is the original alternative, and thankfully it never died. It just finally got its name back. That being said,
guess what, Noah?
Yeah, I'm about to say number 7. Let's start with you this time. Speaking of TNA NXT, I saw the text. Go ahead and say it.
Boom! Let's go to NXT. Obafemi crossed the line with the Hardys against the System. Yes. This was a fun match. Like, how long have JJ? We say this every video lately, but how long have JJ and I been asking for Moose and Oba to be in the same ring? And they pulled the trigger on NXT as a teaser, and then on TNA they actually did it. And I knew it. We were like, holy crap, these two are starting the match. Are they going to do it? And I interrupted and I said, hell no. They're going to tease it, and one of them is going to get out of the ring, and I figured it would be Moose first. And that's exactly what happened. Moose backed up, and he tagged out. Like, you knew these two weren't going to interact because they want to build the tension, and it's going to be big when these two go one-on-one at
Roadblock.
Holy shit, what? Roadblock, yeah.
Yeah, remember that.
My mind had a roadblock. Yeah, exactly. One title on the line. Now, I believe if you go back and watch it, Oba said title for title. It sounds to me like he was supposed to say champion versus champion, screwed up and said title versus title, which is why they hurry up, corrected the graphic, and made sure that they emphasized only one title was on. I feel like he in the script was supposed to say champion versus champion, and they messed up and said title versus title.
Yeah,
I
I can
feel
see
like
that.
that's what happened. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Because to be fair, they're not both world championships. I think it would be really weird. But we also know that Obafemi has Roadblock. We also know, of course, that Moose will also be involved at Sacrifice, defending his championship against Jeff Hardy. So again, it's going to be one of those things. Plus, both are Nigerian. There is an accent there to JJ's point. Again, there's a lot of similarities you could draw with the two. So I'm looking very forward to it. But yeah, that was a great moment. And of course, Moose finally got the better of the Hardys, hitting Matt Hardy. And then Santino Marella made two huge announcements for Sacrifice. And yes, folks, we covering that, of course, here also at the Super Alba Studios. And Super Team for both Revolution and Sacrifice is coming up. Stay tuned for more on that. But yeah, this was a really great six-man tag. And seeing Obafemi run wild in TNA was freaking awesome. I need to see him versus Hammerstone one-on-one again at some point, because I remember Hammerstone, of course, he crossed the line and took on Moose in a he took on Obafemi. He never took on Moose, but I want to see Alex Hammerstone versus Moose now and add him. Just give me a big three-way meat bash. But yeah, good stuff, man. And of course, that literally was this past Thursday. So again, very recent. Before I go on, just to give Daniel some highlight, he said his number 7 was my number 8. All right, so now it's on to me. Well, again, I love wrestling. I love tag team wrestling. You picked a 6-man. I picked a tag team match in what gave me the damnedest finisher of my life. And for those that don't know, not every wrestling region, company, association has the same guidelines as WWE. That's part of the reason why I love the business, thank Christ. And who the fuck knew you could do this in a 16x6 ring with these 4 men? My number 7 is Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, and what was truly a balls-to-the-wall, incredible 4-men showcase. The fact that Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay tagged together for the first time ever after the incredible rivalry and fallout through Wrestle Kingdom 17 and the Forbidden Door, you saw how well they gelled together, didn't want to up each other, even protected one another. But you also seen the strength that Don Callis has created, who has been heavily influential in all 4 men's careers, created with Takeshita and Fletcher. Fletcher, of course, coming back home to Australia, Aussie Open, oi, oi, oi. And Kyle Fletcher, to my point, he didn't hit the fall. So honestly, I was kind of surprised the pros started to hit the fall here. But this had everything to feel like a big fight feel on pay-per-view. And it led to some very interesting developments too. And I swear to God, I've never seen a doomsday device that Cruz created from a fucking One-Wing Angel Hidden Blade finish. That was the damnedest finish in my life. And this was the opening of that show. Top that shit was set by this down under in Australia. This was fucking incredible. You all right? He's taking a call, folks. Again, he multi-tasks here. And yes, JJ, Hammerstone is injured. You're not wrong. But the fact that we got Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher now in a steel cage match at Revolution, and Kenny Omega is going after the AEW National Championship at AEW Revolution, it's going to be a spectacle to say, where these 4 men, if continue to book right, they could be the guy to help lead AEW. But again, you have to wait and see, folks. All right. Well, as he takes a call, I'm sure we'll get his thoughts here. This is what happens when you work also while doing this, folks. Because again, while he's muted, he works double duty. So again, subscribe.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
But again, show the graphic again.
Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay.
That match alone, the ending is worth watching alone. If you don't watch the match, watch the damn ending and how they
fucking 12-minute highlight of it on YouTube with the ending. Go watch that.
The way that they ended that match was freaking ridiculous. What a double team move. Like, I wouldn't even have thought of that. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful match. And I got a feeling Australia is going to keep coming up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's go ahead and move into number 6. And I guess it's on me this time. Before I move on, let's see if Daniel put in his number 6. He actually put in for number 6 a moment in Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble, as main event Jey Uso.
Oops,
won
sorry.
It. And yes, that was a great Royal Rumble in general, especially the other 15, if I'm being perfectly honest. So it was a great segue from the mid card to the upper echelon, where WWE's got more stars than I think they know what to do with. And no one, I think, expected Jay to win. At least not the 80+ of you that did the predictions. Shout out, by the way, so far to the 50+ of you that have done predictions so far in this chamber. You still have till 6 p.m. Standard Time to finalize those picks if you haven't already, or you need to change them. So keep that in mind. You'll find that on NotiQ's social medias and my social medias too. But yeah, that Royal Rumble was downright effing ridiculous. Probably my favorite one since 2001 or 2006, if I'm being legitimately honest. Anyway, speaking of sixes, I'll go ahead and start this thing off. And you said Australia, right? Spotlights, please. My number 6 is Mariah May, the Glamour, defending the AEW Women's World Championship against timeless, that was for you, King, Toni Storm, in what truly has been my favorite two women to watch in this business for women's wrestling and storytelling and the drive of competition for the AEW World Championship. It would have been my favorite saga since I can remember in women's wrestling that is about to hit a Hollywood ending, period. And the fact of the matter that this was treated like the return, the homecoming of Australia's own Toni Storm, the segue from the Toni time to a much more, I would think, pop and circumstance level of her fame. Nice job, Mikey Ruckus, with the revamp of that. You can tell the revamp. But again, the fact of the matter was she wanted to beat Mariah May, win the title back, did it with such a simple finish that people are like, why we did this? Well, now you see why. Because at the end of the day, I think Toni Storm survived Mariah May. This was after she gave Mariah May a suplex clinic. I thought it was going to be a happy ever after for the Glamour. But now it's anything but, as she looks to write an ending in timeless Toni Storm's blood. This is my main event for AEW Revolution, but this was worthy of being on my top 10 for the month of February. An incredible match.
I'm getting a case of the giggles. This is why it's fun that we don't talk to each other before we do the matches and we set it up. Because you're bullshitting that that's your number 6 because
I'm not.
My number 6 is Toni Storm.
What the fuck?
Just so you know, we don't collaborate. Look, I got a different graphic. See, mine says something. If you remove the banner, it says something different at the bottom. Like ours, yeah, but that's freaking hilarious. My number 6 is Toni Storm versus Mariah May.
Get out of my head! You're worse than JJ. Get the fuck out of my head.
That's hilarious. Yeah. But it's like, come on, Toni regained the title in her home country. Like, how can this not make either one of our top 10 lists? This is hilarious that it's the same number. JJ and I almost did this the other day when we did our top 10 movies. Go watch that, on demand. But yeah, we almost did the same thing, and we almost laughed. I think we were one number off. I think it was like his 6 was my 5 or something like that. But that's hilarious that happens. And we have two total different, and not totally, but 2 different graphics for it.
Well, again, it goes back to, each of us being our own fan with our own individual passion and opinion. But I still can't fucking believe that happened. Someone needs to clip that because I guarantee you that should not happen again, but it probably will. Daniel with the take here also taking the gold medal is a tie with the turn of time with Toni Storm coming at 4 times. That's right. She's now history making 4 to be Women's World Champion. Shares with Adam Coleman getting his theme song sung by Australian crowd. And that crowd, by the way, in Brisbane was absolutely amazing from top to bottom. So kudos to you down under in Australia, making Grand Slam feel as big as Grand Slam is supposed to feel. And it wasn't from New York City. Honestly, if Grand Slam becomes international, I would love that because that was tremendous. And again, it's the moment, it's the story, it's the passion, it's the animosity, it's the wrestling. These two were physical when the bell rung. Good God. And I cannot
The only thing that took it down slightly was that the ending was a roll up and not but that
of all things. Of all things, I understand it's wrestling and it's like something so simple. But still, it just baffles me that sometimes in the world of professional wrestling, you can win the highest marquee match with a roll-up. It's not too far-fetched. It doesn't have to be an overkill finish or spamming your finish or even using your finisher. But that goes back to the fundamentals of professional wrestling that I love. Getting moments like that. Hell, Bryan Danielson beat Zack Sabre Jr. with a freaking roll-up, and freaking Zack Sabre Jr. did the same thing in Osaka. So it's just one of those things where I look at the approach of wrestling being so damn dynamic. It's why I love this business. And finisher aside, that was still an incredible main event match and women's showcase. Congrats. Or should I say, brava.
I feel like we all know that I feel like maybe we know they don't have production meetings. I feel like maybe something happened with the timing. The ref kind of whispered end it, and that's how they did it, or something, something
Well,
like
yeah,
that. But who knows? That might have
yeah,
been
you
what
got
happened because it did look like it came suddenly out of nowhere. The ending.
yeah. It literally, she just caught her out of the corner. It
Uh,
looked like she was going for another Storm Zero after sealing it with a kiss, and Tony Storm won. And Mariah May was distraught, so much so that we're seeing now Mariah May is absolutely unhinged. And I fucking love it. After attacking Timeless Tony Storm on Collision and saying that you do not know how to write an ending, Mariah May, brava. All right, let's go ahead and
Anyways,
move on
James,
now.
clip that shit because I don't think that'll ever happen again. The same number
James
has
got
the
enough work.
same.
James got enough work as it is. He still has to figure out the highlight reel for last year's shenanigans with the
What is?
like hybrid year. All right,
What did?
let the man
What did
rest a little.
JJ? You clip it. Somebody clip it. One of us
Oh
can clip
Jesus.
it.
Then maybe I'll clip it later. All right, well, let's go ahead and move into our top five, and I'll go ahead and kick things off here, keeping it the Japanese wrestling side of things. Moving away though from AEW, now I'm going into New Japan Pro Wrestling. When I look at the two men that I think are going to lead this company into its next promise, my number 5 is Yota Tsuji versus Gabe Kidd for the Global Heavyweight Championship. The roots of these two going back to the dojo, and Gabe Kidd, who's so damn unhinged, but believes in Tokan, spirit. He believes in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's New Japan, but he also believes Yota Tsuji's New Japan because Yota Tsuji's done a lot of the same things Gabe Kidd has. He's stuck to his own style. He pushed himself beyond all possible limits, and he truly does believe that New Japan's the absolute best. And the fact that Yota Tsuji went back to the tights, shades of their freaking Young Lion days was definitely a nice touch for me. And these two didn't even get a decisive winner. They beat the Lemon Shezher so bad it was a double down count by Red Shoe Shoto Umino. So nothing's been resolved. So I think Gabe Kenyo and Tsuji are the ones you need to watch this year in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And honestly, with the path that both these men are going, they could be my freaking Wrestle Kingdom main event for next year. But again, Yota Tsuji right now looking to take this title worldwide and show how strong he is. Why Gabe Kidd, again, is supposed to literally show why New Japan is the best shit on the planet. These two demonstrated this in what was the semi-main event in Osaka.
Yeah, these two were so hard hitting. Officially, it's a double knockout, even though it was a count. It's officially a double knockout. Yeah, we call it a count, but technically they call it a knockout. But yeah, obviously these two aren't done with one another, and I feel like that this night in Japan is not going to be done on this list. Like I feel like there were so many matches this night.
And
Like obviously, look at my number 10 was part of it, so.
yeah,
I feel like this is going to make an apparent. But while you went up to Japan, I'm going to go back down to NXT.
Oh.
For number 5. This was Javon Edwards and Ethan Page. They were hard-headed. Ethan Page did his high flying, but not at first. The fact that he wasn't exactly medically cleared to compete, and he had this big ass mouthpiece in it. And the ending, when Ethan caught him off of that turnbuckle, literally knocked the mouthpiece out. Javon Edwards looked like he re-injured the jaw, was bleeding out, and it looks like Ethan Page debuted an entire new move that night. So he ended it with something we haven't seen him use before. What was it called again, Noah? Because you kept saying
Grin.
Twisted Grin. As a FU to his jaw. So a twisted grin. So I feel like it was fun, and I feel like Javon Evans is on the uprise, and like we got a bright future for him. Broken jaw or not.
Yeah, and again, the whole animosity with Ethan Page taking his ego to a different level and breaking people's smiles, but Javon so hell-bent on breaking Ethan Page's smile. At one point, he literally stomped the man's jaw against the steel ring steps and literally tried to break the man's nose as well. And the fact that Javon started so damn hot and furious out the gate, by the way, throwing Ethan across the announce table. Javon really, I think, stepped up his game from being just the guy that bounces to showing that he'd be very aggressive. So I think it was justified here that you put this match on there because I think it really was a breakout match for Javon to show that he will not be a young boy, a young kid, taken lightly. Shades of what Leon Slayer is trying to prove against the system. And even Page, being the 18-year veteran that he is, again, all it took, though, was one well-hit right hand to the jaw, That's all she wrote. So the twisted grin, the additional Eagles edge, basically, to this was a nice touch. So yeah, this was definitely an aggressive grudge bout, to say the least. And also, Daniel, by the way, again, he said that your number 8 was his number 5. So just putting that out there. All right. Well, that being said, that takes care of number 5. So let's go ahead and move into number 4. And before you give yours, we'll start with Daniel, who says his number 4 is the star of the men's rumble, where Rey Mysterio bent the star of the rumble. Of course, Penta held Rey Mysterio so much as an encouragement to his career. Those two, they got to go one-on-one eventually, right? I mean, it's got to happen. Maybe when WWE goes down to Mexico, or, maybe it could be like a WrestleMania subplot down the line. But after that 2-minute sprint with those two, yeah, these two need to go one-on-one at some point. So I don't blame you, Dana, because nobody expected those two to kick things off in the Royal Rumble. Nobody. Truth be told, from our predictions. All right, so Walter, let's go ahead and start with you with this one. What's your number 4?
JJ might want to close his eyes on this one.
What?
Looking for it. Where's the goddamn graphic? There it is.
Graphic.
From Monday Night Raw, yes, Liv and Raquel versus Bianca and Naomi for the tag titles. Don't get me wrong, love them. But the fact that we got new champions, and the fact that this is going to hopefully finally lead to the Who Attacked Jade Cargill story, that's why I did it. But Monday Night Raw has been staggered, let's face it. But this main evented it. And these 4 women, they've been on fire the last few years, and like it showcased it here. They let them have the main event, and they delivered. Like, I feel like a lot of people are gonna shit on it because of who won. That's why I said, JJ, be careful, close your eye. But like, they deserve it, and I feel like now Liv and Raquel made history. They're the only women to become 3-time tag team champions, and let's see what they can do with the title. Can we finally, in 2025, we say never. All this shit is happening. And how many times have I said, what is 2025 in wrestling? Can we finally make the women's tag titles relevant? Please, Triple H, please.
I mean,
Hopefully these two do it.
Well, I will say this. They actually are more justified as a tag team in the longevity of their careers than Bianca and Naomi was, where Naomi's only relevance was the fact that Jade Cargill got injured. Still don't know by who, quote unquote. Gee. But yeah, I gotta get credit due. Raquel and Liv have been one of the more record-setting female duos in WWE, and I think they were justified in becoming tag team champions again, especially in the main event scene. You could argue all you want against Liv Morgan, but Liv Morgan literally broke out last year and made that her year. She, honestly, without Mommy, Liv Morgan was the most valuable player on the Raw women's roster. Sorry, not sorry. Facts are facts. So I think she's going to do that a different way this year. And I do think that Liv and Raquel offer a different dynamic. I would like to see them defend those titles against the likes of Zaruka, for example, because you got the power of Zarya and you got the absolute incredible athleticism dynamic of Zaruka. She is so well refined in her agility. It is beautiful. I love it. Of course, being a former Summer champion, I guess you're supposed to be that. But yeah, and again, I may not watch Raw and SmackDown, but I do watch the YouTube highlight reels. And thanks to Women's Wrestling YouTube channel, Wrestling Conference YouTube channel, subscribe to those folks. It's easy for me to actually watch the matches I care about and look at the segments that matter towards what I'm supposed to talk about when I do these watch-alongs with you guys. So that being said, yes, I did go back and watch this. I went back and watched Lara Kira vs. Dakota Kai 2. So those are honestly the only 2 things I cared about this past Monday Night Raw. So I'm glad that this was on your list. And again, congrats to Liv and Raquel, because I do think Raquel's greatest strength is tag team specials, even though she was a former NXT Women's Champion, taking it off of Io Sky. And honestly, if done right, Raquel and Rhea, yes, please. All right, well, that's fair. Well, number 4, sticking to New Japan Pro Wrestling, talking about, those that deserve it, talking about, showing your strength. I think Bolin Oleg showed how much strength he has in what being a former 6-middleweight champion and once being literally a breakout in the G1 Climax last year. He took it to the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita in Osaka. I have not seen Konosuke Takeshita manhandled. You heard me right. Manhandled by the likes of anybody's been in the ring with before Bolton Oleg, who even kamikazed him. And of course, never openweight championship spirit, the strongest, never give up, never surrender, never say die. The rugged physical valor of spirit was on full display here with these two men. I think Bolton Oleg is going to have a breakout year this year, similar to Drilla Maloney, who beat Shingo Takagi in the opener. Shingo Takagi now, who has been beaten by the new heavyweight amongst the division now, Drilla Maloney. And I think Bolton Oleg can also get Drilla a run for his money. But I also think Bolton Oleg, he's a guy that could earn gold later this year. I really think he has a huge upside as a single star. And again, Konosuke on the run of his life, working DDT, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, still double belt Konosuke for now. Konosuke not only proved that he belongs to Cerulean Blue, but Bolton Oleg, he belongs to Cerulean Blue too. This was absolutely just tremendous. I respect Sean Edwards too.
It was, and yeah, I'd never seen Konosuke, like you said, manhandle like that. I've never seen him get so much. He had to be on the defense for so much of the match. I've seen him do a lot of offensive moves, but damn, Oleg showed that he was deserving. He came within a fraction of a second. There were many times, like if you watch Simon Miller, he calls it a 1-2 ooh. How many 1-2 oohs was there where I thought they were going to be a 3? And like
I thought he had about the kamikaze. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
when he finally hit that kamikaze, I thought legitimately we were gonna have a shotgun Osaka.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Konosuke is just doing double, triple duty, man. He's just wrestling all over the place. I love the fact that he has 2 titles. You can never get enough Konosuke. So, like, I'm kind of glad the one thing Tony does with this relationship with Japan and letting the people that we want fight multiple times, like, I love it now. I mean, we see Okada in different places. We see Kenny Omega in different places. Like, the fact that these people are where they were born and bred for wrestling in Japan and these things, the fact that they get to still do this while under an American company and signed to where they're at, I like it. Like, we love the TNA, NXT, Crossroad, and the NXT thing, but I don't think AEW and New Japan don't get enough credit for their relationship.
I agree. I think that's one of the greatest strengths that's happened with AEW is expanding more of an exposure for New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, and also with the fact that you have the CMLL athletes as well. These international ties, I think, help with the idea of AEW, similar to what happened in WCW back in the day. And I've really enjoyed these type of shows with Forbidden Door, with Wrestle Dynasty, and I'm curious to see what happens at this year Forbidden Door, which may not even be from what you're thinking. It might be the copper box, similar to what they do with Royal Quest. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Konosuke right now, he is the athlete this year on another level. Bruv. Sorry, Will Ospreay, for the time being. Before we go into number 3, I'll kick things off here. But for me, though, Daniel, by the way, he picked your number 4 as his number 3, bronze medal. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez becoming 3-time women's tag team champions. And again, you can say what you want about Liv Morgan from a perspective, but you can't argue she's been one of the most valuable players in the women's division this past year on Monday Night Raw, if not across both rosters. All right, so now we're in the top 3. Now we're getting fun. Now we're getting serious. And why it's top 3? My number 3 has 4 women involved in it. My number 3 is the NXT Women's Fatal 4-Way from Vengeance Day, with beautiful Amanda Julia defended against Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. Again, you know how much I love Julia, freaking top Ganjin from freaking Japan. And of course, Julia's first defense of the NXT Women's Championship against Bayley, who's done everything possible coming back down to NXT, furthering that Robert Roxanne Perez, the project looked to regain her title back. To think this time last year, Roxanne Perez defends against Lara Valkyria, and Your Mamacita Little Vice interrupted that, nearly stealing it, turning it into a triple threat. But also, Cora Jade, she's one that needs to prove something to me. And she had a chance to really prove it here, and I thought she looked very strong, especially at one point when her and Roxanne had a little bit of fallout, when it was only those two, and each one of them cost each other the title at her point. At the end of the day, though, it was Cora Jade that got knocked the fuck out of Riva Danci by Julia's Northern Lights bump to the Riva Danci knee, and Cora Jade at the fall. I think Cora Jade, again, if she didn't get injured, it'd be a different landscape. I don't know if I would have seen Roxanne in this graphic personally, but I loved what all 4 of these women brought forward. It was the main event, and it set up so much. I think we're getting Roxanne versus Bailey at Stand Deliver WrestleMania. If we don't, Triple H, then you're an idiot. I'm sorry, not sorry. Accurate. And as far as Cora Jade, we know now she's challenged Masha Slamovich for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. For somebody that's lost so much in NXT but has a great upside since coming back from an injury, if Cora Jade beats Masha Slamovich, then I officially will recognize her as the top player. If she loses against Masha as Cora, but fights Masha as Elena Black, then I think that I'll finally see what Cora Jade's supposed to be in WWE. But this was absolutely an incredible moment for all four of these women. And this match, there's so much chain reaction effect throughout it as well. It could have gone any woman's way, and I would have been disappointed. But Cora Jade ate the fall. I'm not surprised by that one. Oh, excuse me. Roxanne ate the fall because Cora Jade was the one that was caused by Roxanne. That finishing sprint down the line that I nearly lost my damn voice. So again, kudos to all four women, as NXT right now might have the best women's division here in the United States.
Clip that, JJ. He just said that. Cora Jade, I feel like it's a blessing in disguise that her injury is what gave us the Roxanne that we got now. Like, how many times did we see her on SmackDown and Raw and things? And yes, I feel like this is leading to Bailey and Roxanne one-on-one at WrestleMania. Don't do Stand and Deliver. These two deserve WrestleMania, damn it. At least let them open it. Open night one with these two.
If Fandango can go against Chris Jericho at WrestleMania for a win that didn't matter at all for his career, then Roxanne and Bailey go one-on-one at WrestleMania where that win will matter so damn much to either woman's career. Continue.
Yeah, but I figured you would go there. That's why I didn't put it. But my number 3 is what you had earlier. I feel like it's the KO and Cody versus Royal Rumble.
Cody Rhodes.
It was a good match. The only disappointment I have is the fact that this Saturday we got Sammy and KO, because it kind of undersold the fact that KO's power driver is so devastating, because then he did it to Cody, and Cody comes back 2-3 weeks later. So but that's just little nitpicking. I mean, it's a ladder match for the title, and it kind of overshadowed one of the Royal Rumbles. Like, I was people, how disappointed were people that Jay won the Royal Rumble? People talk more about this match than they do the Royal Rumble. Like, when does that ever happen at any Royal Rumble PLE? Like, people almost to the point forget what the title matches are because they get so hyped over the Royal Rumble itself. So the fact that these two are able to get people to talk about them rather than the actual Royal Rumble. People don't talk about the Royal Rumble itself. They just talk about the fact that Jay won it, if you know what I mean. They don't talk about the Royal Rumble itself. So, like, these two pulled off a hell of an event, and I'm so glad that these two were able to do that. And it kind of saw a whole different side of Cody. Like, we saw that he has that mean streak in him, and it KO, for all intents and purposes, pushed him over the edge.
Yeah, quite literally. And Sammy looking at his broken friend while that looming shot of Cody holding up both championships over a fallen KO that once let his former friend was a nice clothing touch too. But between the moments of the fucking Fisherman Buster off the top through the ladder bridge, I thought KO and Cody were dead. Then I thought KO broke his spine when he landed on the side of the ladder via bat body drop. There was so much ladder destruction here too. This was justifiably one of the best ladder matches I've seen in a long damn time in WWE. So that's fantastic at the moment.
Because it's the truth. That's why.
Well, behind every man, there's a greater woman. So there you go. Not me though. I'm solo. Anyway, it's one of those things though that, again, so much was brought out of this. I almost wonder, to your point, that moment that Cody did loom over KO, was that the moment that The Rock maybe truly thought, I think it's time? Because I wonder how long The Rock's been thinking about this proposal to Cody, where he doesn't want the title, he doesn't want the man, he doesn't want just a brother, he wants your soul. And tonight we're going to find out finally that yes or no, what's going to be definitely the most talked about moment of the night. No offense to anything else in this card, but this is the reason why people are going to tune in from a global standpoint, not just a wrestling standpoint. But anyway, all things aside,
Dwayne Shang Chung Johnson from Mortal Kombat.
And stay tuned, folks, when we level up and have gaming content here soon. Maybe we'll even go one-on-one in Mortal Kombat. You don't know. Stay tuned. Again, we'll be leveling up and bringing in the Simply Gaming podcast here, maybe within the next week, honestly. Stay tuned for more on that. I promise you. Again, priorities or passion, schedules aside, things happen. All right. Well, that being said, first off, before JJ has a heart attack, that was my last match from NXT. So now it's on you. Let's go ahead and get your number 2. While Daniel, I want to know your silver medal. Oh wait, let's get Daniel real quick. His silver medal is Joe Henry entering the Royal Rumble. Yeah, that spear from Roman Reigns. Damn, but he was face to face with Roman Reigns. I'm just saying. That was a moment. I hate that he got eliminated by Roman so quickly, though, but it was still a moment. All
I
right,
wanted
Walter.
him.
Now it's
I
on you
wanted
for
him
number
and
2.
I wanted him and John Cena to just interact,
Me
even if it
too.
was just for a second. Like
Missed
even if it was
opportunity.
just for a second.
I know he's talked to him backstage because Denise Salcedo put the curtain. God bless Denise Salcedo. Subscribe to her, folks. But still, Anyway, what's your number 2, Walter?
Number 2 are those 3 letters you just said. NXT.
NXT.
Vengeance Day. Stephanie Vaquer, Fallon Henry, and the fact that this was Stephanie outcoming. She won the damn title from Fallon. I knew it. It pissed me off because I originally went with her, changed my mind. I went back and forth, and then I changed it on the official. You said it's too damn late, and I couldn't. NXT
I
Vengeance would have
have to
been so
enforce
much better for
rules.
me.
I have to
I
enforce
know.
rules. You and I both got burnt on this one, though, to be fair. Damn it.
Yeah,
Continue.
damn it. But the fact that she did it, this is our outbringer. And then the moment at the end of what your match was, the fact that they stared at each other, held title for title, gave me that Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit WrestleMania 20 moment. Like you saw me, I was live. I got emotional seeing these two.
Yeah, you
And then
couldn't
Jordan
speak. I
Grace
had
came.
to freaking
Yeah.
continue speaking.
Yeah, I literally got emotional. The fact that these women are getting their just due. Like, I love NXT in the women's division. And then Jordan Grace came out on top of it. It made it even worse for me. Like, the fact that the women are getting this much attention in 2025. I'm so happy for it. Go women's wrestling. So,
Damn it.
this is definitely my my number 2 here. I had to give it its props.
I mean, again, Fallon Henry has been a tremendous NXT Women's North American champion. Tessa Bryce has grown so much in NXT, leading this faction. But yeah, Stephanie Vaquer, La Primera, calls herself champion of champions. Well, here's our first step towards that. Of course, the first signed WWE superstar from Chile, South America, defined down in Mexico, former CMLL Women's World and Women's Tag Team Champion, had an incredible moment last year in Korga Hall, winning the Strong Championship from New Japan from Julia. And Stephanie, literally with only 2 losses right now for her NXT career, I think, if not 1. Now she has her first championship in less than a year in WWE. And the fans have definitely come to respect Stephanie Vaquer for the athleticism that she brings. So it really is a tremendous upside to see what NXT has cultivated in their women's division and the international talent they brought forward versus just the nil athletes or basic sport background athletes that you know more about in NXT. And I think LFG is going to be more of that, considering LFG is literally about that. So again, good stuff, man. I respect that. And congratulations to Stephanie Vaquer. Can she become champion of champions, being Julia at Roadblock? Quote unquote. We'll find out soon enough. Someone's going to have all the gold in NXT. Hey, yo. All right. Well, that being said, that's a great number 2. Of course, you give the women respect. I give them respect, but there's no greater women's wrestling on the planet. You can fight me till I die. I will not say otherwise than Joshi's. And I love when Joshi's go fucking crazy. It doesn't get crazier than the World of Stardom Championship with Saya Kamitani versus Crazy Girl Zuzu Suzuki. The definition of the strongest and the ultimate crazy madness. Of course, it's been building up since the beginning of the year, since Saya Kamitani beat Tam Nakano for that title and forced her to put it around her waist, embarrassing her beyond all belief. Why Crazy Star, Suzu Suzuki, of course, previously won the 5-star Grand Prix, had a chance to become champion, lost against Micah, now is on her own here without her sister, Julia, part of Neo Genesis, and had a chance to become the World of Stardom champion in a match that Saya even says that she loves fighting her. You're just as crazy as me, if not more. And Suzu said, let's do it again. Why Saya went, bleh. But I love the fact that these 2 women main event at Corrigan Hall. I love the roots that both came through into stardom, considering Suzu came from Prominence. And Saya had such a promising upside as the Golden Phoenix, but it always seemed like she just had emotional heartache and never could get to that next echelon. Now that she's literally lost everything and has literally fallen into the darkness, she's gained everything. How far insanity pushes somebody to become the absolute best. And ever since Saya Kamatani became part of this fashion called hate, she's been one of the absolute best in Stardom. And she proved it holding on to the World of Stardom Championship. So I absolutely love this crazy ass barn burner these two brought. And of course, now I know this may be the last time I say Saya Kamatani and Stardom in the same sentence, considering what's going to happen this coming week. Because Saya Kamatani and Tim Nakano are going to go one-on-one for the last time, and the loser leaves Stardom. But as far as Zuzu Suzuki, I want to see Zuzu actually win the World of Stardom Championship before the end of this year. She's the one I'm looking forward to the most right now in Stardom to take the red belt next. This was great. And again, for those that don't know, you can watch this through Stardom World or sometimes the YouTube channel. Gives you like a mass excerpt cut. Go follow World of Stardom today. And yes, we'll be coming Stardom here soon. I assure you. We've already covered Marigold, Noah, New Japan. We will be covering Stardom. I assure you.
Yeah, we will cover Stardom. And Stardom would have made my top 10 list, but like I said, I didn't get to watch it this month, so I felt like it'll be unfair and screwing our audience out of it if I try to BS through it and put them on there and then pretend like I watched it. And I didn't watch it, so I feel like it would have been unfair to the people.
I
I'm a
respect
man of the
that.
people.
Again,
Yeah.
it's all about the passion, but it's also about the knowledge behind your passion. Speaking of which, we of course talked about one honorable mention as we get ready for number one. Again, thank you all for tuning in so far. Daniel, thank you for sharing your list. By the way, it's been absolutely fun sharing this with you too. And I hope that everyone here has had a great time listening to these matches, and also maybe you have an idea of what you can watch beyond what you already watch in all things wrestling. Or maybe you can give a suggestion towards what you like. NWA, HOD, AAA, CMLL, TJPW, Sendai Girls, Prominence, let us know. CCW, we love to hear you. So that being said, we do have honorable mentions here as well before we go into our number one. So Walter, let's go with you with another honorable mention. What else do you have that you want to give a little bit of a nod to?
Yes, we talked about women's professional wrestling, damn it.
Damn it.
I feel like one that's undervalued and not given the proper credit it deserves is, listen, people think I'm an AEW hater. AEW with Collision has been on fire. So one of the other mentions that I have, one of the other, honorable mentions I have comes from very recent Collision, and it's Julia Hart versus Queen Amanada. There it is. I was looking for it. I feel like these two brought the house down in that Collision. Collision has been very, very good lately. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like night and day with Collision and Dynamite. Whatever Tony's doing with Collision, can he translate it to Wednesday? Like, what are you, just a fan of Saturday? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like,
Saturday.
I don't know, but like these two fought good battle. Like I really like it. Plus, you and I are big fans of Julia Hart, but I give Queen Amanada the respect she deserves, to the point where I thought she might have beat Athena when they were gonna go on, but the damn reign that Athena's having, holy shit! I don't think
On
anyone's
another
gonna
level.
match that.
She's on another
Yeah,
level.
it's a beyond another level, exactly. But I feel like these two deserve. They didn't make the top 10, so I had to name them somewhere. So I had to give them an honorable mention. But shout out to AEW and Collision this month, or last month, I should say, because they did a really good job.
Yeah, I think you'd have talked verbatim about this with AEW's potential in the women's division if they cultivate enough with booking it with enough respect. You think about Harley Cameron right now, the brightest rising star amongst the AEW women's division. Julia Hart, who returned from injury, no longer the Empress of the House of Black, but literally a hound of hell, as Brody King by Mavericks have been rebooked into this, brought to light, no longer quieted by a deafening voice, no longer hidden in the shadows. And Julia Hart, such a young athlete, nice flying, octopus hold for the win in the end, showing how much she's adapted to her arsenal. The queen leaving her mark on her face. Damn, those long kicks, my God. And of course, trying to
Right?
go for the brain drain at the end. Queen Amina might have the most lethal long kick I've seen so far from a woman in wrestling. But yeah, this was a very game competitive bout. And again, you wonder who's going to challenge for the AEW World Championship or the TBS Championship next. I would definitely put Julia Hart, Queen Aminata in that conversation following this. And Julia Hart, again, is one of the youngest rising athletes in all of AEW, former TBS champion who lost that title last year at Dynasty. With Dynasty coming up, maybe she can rebuild that. So again, I love that, and mad respect to Queen Amanada, who, by the way, will soon be facing Serena Deeb in a Ring of Honor pure rules match. Respect the professor as much as we respect Natalia. Again, AEW, you have an incredible women's division. Don't undermine it. You seem to really love to showcase it far more to well this point on Collision. Do the same thing on Dynamite. Deanna Purrazzo, how they can spend a little bit more time, in my opinion. Although I am curious now with Deanna saying she's going home. What's next for the boss of the Vendetta? But anyway, Harley
Mhm.
Cameron right now is probably one of my favorites to see the laugh. But yeah, good stuff, man. All right. Well, again, as I, of course, there's so many ratchets. There's so much respect. You look at Osawa Galino. You look at talking about AEW. Again, I just said Deanna Purrazzo, Harley Cameron. I mean, there's been so many incredible matches. Macho Slam and Savannah Evans. Savannah, her first chance at the Knockouts World Championship. I'm going to stick, though, to Stardom because the 24th at the Path of Thunder really showed me quite a lot when it comes to the future of Stardom. And one of the things that showed me the future of Stardom was the fact that we have new artists of Stardom champions. So one of my honorable mentions is actually the six-woman bout from Stardom that also took place the same night as the World of Stardom Championship, where for the first time since 2023, Asume is a champion again, as it was common there. I can't speak. Sorry, folks. Cosmic Angels, of course, represented by Tam Nakano. I always screw up her name. Sorry, Anoi and Natsupoi. They lost the titles to Asume, Miyu Amasaki, and I'm literally looking at the name to make sure I got it right. And Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid, of course, now the White Tiger. This was an incredible bout, and it's also the first time that Asume's been a champion since 2023, getting her Asume Sushi on Anoi. It was a good 18-minute contest, and for me, Asume has such an incredible upside, but compared to Starlight Kid and Miyu, she's kind of been, just wandering about so far. She's been on great excursions, but she hasn't won anything. She faced Mayu Iwatani, of course, at Wrestle Dynasty for the IWGP Women's Championship, a title that Mayu still has, by the way. So for me, just the fact that Asume is once again a champion, and again, previous leader, in my opinion, of Queen's Quest before Utami Hayashita was a thing. I'm just glad to see Asume finally with gold around her waist. And talk about the future. Why Miyu lost the Future Stardom Championship to Hina, she's now still an Artist of Stardom champion. So, again, the upside of Joshi's, of Stardom, these young women who've been wrestling before 18 years old, and some going into university that they call their school. Shout out to Hina, by the way, who not only won the title, she freaking is going to university. Congratulations. I love seeing that uprise in young female talent, especially on the Japanese wrestling scene. And you also can learn a lot more about that watching the New Blood shows that usually are on YouTube, considering several of these women I just talked about started with New Blood, and now they're champions or the main event caliber stars that are on the rise in Stardom. Rita being another one. And if I was given an honorable mention, Rina Starlight Kid, because Rina, Hana be honored. And for those that don't know, I mean Hana Kimura. Anyway, go ahead.
Mhm. You're gonna hear a lot from Starlight Kid. That's a name that I feel like we're gonna say a lot in the future.
Yeah, thank.
But I got another
Anyway,
one. We cover
go
a
for it.
lot, Noah. I got
Oh,
another. We
Dale?
cover a lot, and I feel like it would be unjust if we didn't give this company some love. Like I got another honorable mention here that you. There it is. Super Fight
Whoa!
MLW. Kenta versus Kevin Knight. These two went at it. The original go to sleep person, and we called this. So like
Accurate.
I feel like yeah, I feel like they deserve some love. Like we couldn't skip over. We literally watched so much wrestling. I don't think we could have skipped over Major League, and the fact that we did this impromptu watch along here, and Eric Bischoff is involved in everything. But from Atlanta Center here, I feel like these two did some justice, and they deserve to be mentioned here.
I mean, Kevin Knight, he honestly might be the greatest soarer. I don't know flyer, but he soars. He is the jet. It is ridiculous. And Kenta, again, one of the most recognized names of the Japanese wrestling landscape, particularly for Wrestling Noah, now that he's returned home and signed with Noah and is tagging alongside Keno, who left All Rebellion, honorably, might I add. It is one of those things that, yeah, Kevin Knight, former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion, and really, he's had these great singles exhibitions, whether against Moose, whether against Kenta. insert name here. So I love the fact that you have a match from MLW that is still a Japanese wrestling base. A shout out to Dwayne Atkinson. Dwayne, good to see you. I hope that you enjoy Limits Chamber when you can. Have a great night. I hope to see you again soon on Simply Predicting. Again, folks, for those that don't know, Simply Predicting for right now is the usual standard time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live Thursday night following TNA Impact. It will be that for the ongoing future with my schedule, but come April, that might adjust considering how much wrestling we're going to cover that week. And again, Lord help my voice, my sanity, and what is sleep. But Dwayne, I hope to see you again soon on Sleep Predicting, and good luck in predictions tonight. I hope you got yours in. I'll check here in a moment to review the team no DQ.
Before we move on, breaking
Yeah.
news. I have the next top 10 that we're going to do. You and I stick to wrestling. Me and JJ, we have fun. We do other things in wrestling. So coming up, I can announce it here officially because he sent me the graphic. Our next top 10 of JJ, we did the top 10 movies. Now we're going from movies to music. The next top 10 are the top 10 90s country songs, March 13th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. So tune in. That is me and the Renegade J.J. Williams' next top 10 there.
That
And we got
actually
so much music to choose from that I don't think him and I will do the same thing that you and me did.
if you all pick recognized songs from recognized artists, I could see at least one time maybe it happening. And I see Alan Jackson on there, one of my all-time favorites. Remember when? So you actually have piqued my interest considerably because again, I may hate karaoke, but my mom grew me up on fucking pure country. I call the 90s pure country, not this pop bullshit. So absolutely, I love this theme. And I look very forward to seeing y'all's list and how many songs you surprise me with that I may not have even heard of. So good stuff. Well, that being said, talking about top 10s, with every top 10, you go from 10 on down. You got to end with number one. So before we do that, again, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. We do this once a month when it comes to the top 10, but there's always content here at the Super Bible Studios, whether gaming, wrestling, music, tens list, or who knows what else in between. Again, stay tuned tonight after the Chamber for the Saturday Shenanigans, celebrating Jet Legion's birthday, hosted by Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. Well, that being said, it's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of chit chat. We had some honorable mentions, more honorable mentions that we could stick a bat at, considering, again, that Stardom show on the 24th had so much good on it. Wing Gory defending against Crazy Star, Miyu Amasaki versus Hina, Starlight Kid versus Rena. I talked about what I watched in Noah. Of course, the Noah anniversary show, by the way, Walter, is on Sunday morning, where Osal will challenge Nabusoya title for title, Lumberjack Death Match. So someone's leaving with all the gold in Noah. We talked about Marigold. Bozilla's going to challenge Utami Hayashita at the end of the month for the Marigold World Championship after beating Mirai. Bozilla is a freak of nature. Jesus Christ. We know we got Revolution coming up. We got Sacrifice. We got Roadblock. And who the fuck knows what else W is going to drop on our bucket. And of course, New Japan has the New Japan Cup. But let's go ahead and get into our number one match in our personal opinions for February. Why don't you go ahead and start with yours?
All right. I'm going back to what I saw again. This is 4:30 in the goddamn morning, but Lucha Libre is the shit. And when you mix Japón, Japan with Mexico, you get some good shit. And I'm the biggest critic of this dude, and you've heard me say it because of his WWE run, but I think it was just the style, and he might have bet in the back, just not been as happy because damn, since he has left WWE, the man's been on fire, and like I gotta give it to him. So I'm going back to Fantastica Mania for my number one, and I'm going with Mystico versus Averno. They had everything. You go to high flying, you go to ground game, respect, hard hitting, and it ends with a tap out. Like these two went at it and showed what the hell fucking professional wrestling is supposed to be in
Damn it.
2025. It's not every second you need to flip. Yes, you can mix it in there, but these two did ground, submission, hard hitting. They did everything that they can, and respect to them. I know it's shocking because it's mystical, and we've seen how outspoken against him I was, like to the point where I call him Bachiko sometimes. But
Yeah,
I
right?
mean, the
I've
man has
heard you
been,
say that verbatim.
yeah. Uh, the fact that since he's left and got rid of that Sin Cara gimmick and it has returned to what he was in Mexico, the man is on absolute fire. And we've covered, I think James and you did it his last match, or was it James was involved because I remember him mentioning Misty. Was it the three of us?
I think it was the three of us. Yeah.
Yeah. It was I think it was the three of us. But if you can find 15 minutes out of your day and to watch this and how he defended the title, and even at the end, he gives an entire speech. Yes, it is in Spanish, but he talks about how if Japan, Mexico, and the United States, you mix it, he has respect. He was looking for wrestling, and he has found it. And he gives Averno all the respect. You can see them hug it out and shake it at the end of the match. These two showed what 2025 professional wrestling should and could be. The fact that we talk about Tony Khan botching and letting things slip through his hands, Triple H screwed this up. Like, I don't know what it was. The presentation, well, it was his first big signing, but I think it was Vince McMahon that really screwed it up because he was still
Yeah, it
running
was
the
Vince. Let's
company.
be honest
Yeah,
here. All right.
yeah,
I mean,
it was
all the
Vince.
pedal black.
Yeah, but this he could have been so much more. I don't know. I think they were just looking for the next Rey Mysterio and trying to sell fucking masks, to be honest. And it didn't
Exactly.
let him be himself and who he wants to be. But Mystical has really been impressing me since he's left WWE. So I gave these two the number one spot. I mean, it's freaking lucha libre and it's Japanese style mixed with the CMLL Mexican rules. So, like, how can I not?
I'm about to say it's for just putting it out there. I mean, well
Mm.
done. I'm very proud of you. And again, Mystical, by the way, who was defending a title during that match. For those that don't know, he is still the MLW World Middleweight Champion at 366 days. And of course, Fantastica Mania has always been that stage for the mix of the styles, like you talked about. We've also seen it here in America and California. Remember, it was literally, I think, last year or the year before that, Little Nightingale won the CMLL Women's World Championship when it was vacated at Fantastica Mania here at California. So I love the fact that you literally included a match from New Japan, but the Fantastica Mania towards the conclusion of it nonetheless. And it is one of those things where I think Lucha Libre is extremely unique because it is a lot of high aerial offense, but there are those that are also submission magicians and great technicians. We talk about all the time the crazy alchemist Hechicero, for example, and how many times he's tested Zack Sabre Jr. Here you have Mystical and Averno coming down to submission. So Nestor surprised by you saying that you didn't think you would give Mystical credit. So I love the fact that you did pick a Mystical match of all things. So I'm proud of you, bro. And I'm sure we'll see more Mystical in the near future when it comes to MLW or New Japan, or maybe even ROH Lucha Libre Showcase. By the way, shout out to La Catalina versus Lady Frost. That was a great match as well. Now she has Athena in her crosshairs. That could be a very interesting clash style. Can anyone beat the Fallen Gods at this point also? Shout out to Alex Windsor versus Athena. That was also at AEW ROH. Just saying. All right. Well, that being said, you talked about the representation in the highest pedigree of Lucha Libre and New Japan Pro Wrestling, a clash of styles. Of course, we talk about the history. We talk about legacy. I had to go number one based on what, for me, was the biggest moment I saw and heard from all things across professional wrestling. This man, honestly, I feel the last of the old guard. With the fact that Hiroshi Tanahashi is on his last road, I've watched the likes of Yuji Nagata. I've watched the likes of course, Hiroshi Tensan. I've watched Keiji Muto. I've seen so much Japanese professional wrestling legacy wrestlers. Tatsumi Fujinami, Antonio Inoki, arigato, that I had to give love, credit, respect, and congratulations to this man, this father. 18 years, damn it. Finally fucking doing it. My number one is Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. in Osaka for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. The title that has eluded Goto his entire life, the big one he has never done 8 freaking chances in against the likes of Tanahashi and freaking Okada and freaking Keiji Muto, to my point. Why Zack Sabre Jr. had the greatest upside to his year and his career last year, winning the G1, defending this in Repro, defending this in Japan, and literally also representing this in America and defending at back-to-back nights in the Tokyo Dome against Ricochet and Sota Umino. Hiroki Goto with a new leash on life after losing the Global Weight Championship opportunity against David Finlay in front of his kids, might I add. Because again, this guy is a fodder, and there's nothing more viable to him than family. Here we are in Osaka. It was Hiroki Goto territory. Zack Sabre Jr. knew what he was going into as well. And these two, and Clark Connors, the War Dog on commentary, and Walter Stewart losing his fucking shit. The passion in this building to see Goto finally win the big one. Figuring this had to be his time or he might as well retire. From the revamp and his entrance for the Savage Warrior, it was all beautiful. And finally, when he hit that fucking GTR, that Goto Revolution, how can you not feel the moment for Goto when that place exploded and everyone was on their feet? Now that Goto finally fucking won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And Zack Sabre Jr., he set a bar for what you can do in New Japan Pro Wrestling, whether you were born there or not, and loves and literally treasures New Japan and respects Goto as well. And icing on the cake, afterwards, the emotion he overcome, he said he did this for his father, who he recently, of course, lost, and then bringing his kids in the ring. You can't say enough things about this match, the moment, and the aftermath. And now we know at the anniversary show, Walter, New Japan, of course, 53rd anniversary, it will be Hiroki Goto defending that title against Hiroshi Tanahashi in the main event. But Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata, respecting the fact that he's the last of the old guard, let's go ahead and show these young people what we still can do and that we still very much can be involved in this title picture too. We might get Blue Justice versus Hiroki Goto down the line. Maybe Sakura Genesis, maybe after the New Japan Cup, maybe in the finals. I don't know. But again, I could not be happier for Bishamon, record-setting IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion, World Tag League winner, former 6-man weight tag team winner, member of Chaos, where Chaos feels like it's a dying faction. I couldn't be happier for Goto, and it was my favorite moment this past month. And I did not hear a moment that loud compared to this the entire month theater. So congratulations to Hiroki Goto.
Definitely congratulations. And yeah, this was a huge, huge moment. Never thought I would see it either. He finally did.
I didn't think it was a shock up, but it definitely shocked everyone's hearts when it happened.
And you know what the thing is with New Japan? There's no West for the weary. As soon as you win the title, you pretty much traditionally find out who the hell your next opponent is, and we already know it. Like, that's how it is in Japan. It's just a thing. As soon as you win the title, your next opponent pops up. But I don't think Zack Sabre Jr. This will be the last of him as a champion. I can tell you that. Matter of fact, I think I guarantee that. Yeah.
But he's also in the New Japan Cup, which he's notoriously won, I think, 2 times now. So don't be surprised if Zack Sabre Jr. and Hiroki Goto is being visited at Sakura Genesis, which will happen after the New Japan Cup. And stay tuned again, folks, because who knows, it might be covering Sakura Genesis or even the New Japan Cup finals here, because I assure you, you thought we were only going to cover Japanese wrestling 1 week a year. Oh, no. We are going to figure out these schedules and look at these big shows and bring you more Japanese wrestling coverage, too. But, yeah, I had to give Hiroki Goto credit for my favorite match and moment for the month of February. And now that he's had the title, he's fought this long to get it. He's looking to fight even longer to hold it. So the work truly begins for Hiroki Goto, and he's ready for it. And Daniel, by the way, given the gold medal between Thomas Toy Storm being a 4th Women's World Champion and Anna Copeland again, that song sung by the Australian crowd. So again, Daniel, thanks for joining along for the ride. But yeah, Walter, again, I think February surpassed everything we saw in January. And I think March has a good chance to do more of the same with specials across all the shows and all the anniversary shows coming up as well before we hit April. But what are your folks' thoughts? What is your favorite matches or moments from February? Do you have something that we didn't even mention here from a different company? Do you have something you recommend? Do you want to see us cover something else here at Survival Studios? Look at the archives. Look at the promotions that we cover. Look at the promotions we dipped our toes into virtually when it comes to independent wrestling. Women's showcases particularly, though, because, again, Africa's women's wrestling. Again, we're just getting started here. Survival Studios will keep you in tune across all things wrestling. Then, now, and as long as we have oxygen in our lungs and the internet provides feasible working conditions, too. But that's all I got to say for now, and I hit the mark right on the head, about 90 minutes. So, again, thank you all for tuning in. We're going to take a short break, and we'll see you here very soon when we start coverage in this chamber. Again, our coverage will start 6:30 p.m. East Standard Time with our pre-show hype, and we'll segue right into the chamber following that before we go into Saturday shenanigans. celebrating Jeff Beach's birthday at 11 o'clock tonight. So, Lily here with a follow quick. I would agree with Daniel. This was top 10 moments, but since it's matches, I see why the two of you went the way you did. Again, you got to look at how matches versus moments are in the perspective of the wrestling business when it comes to us as fans. You are not us. We are not you, but we are fans of all things wrestling too. The moments and the matches matter equally, but sometimes the matches, they just take the primary. Walter, any closing remarks before we bid these people a fine adieu?
No, just tune in later. And again, don't want to end on a somber note, but yeah, tell the people you love them, because you just never know when that moment's coming. So
Damn right.
just yeah, we do this as an escape, and I love it, and we'll be back later. And then just stay tuned, and the S word, subscribe. We get to 200, I get to go to WrestleMania. It's a selfish reason that I keep asking to be subscribed, but damn it, I'm a hold her to her word.
I mean, hey, you're going to keep saying that as long as you can.
And I've never been to New Orleans, so this would be nice.
I've never been to New Orleans either, and boy, does the Big Easy really bring the hard times to a positive vibe. And I hope that this brings everyone else's hard times to a positive vibe. As again, wrestling truly should be a happy escape, not a controversial minefield of madness and stupidity and toxicity. There is purity in wrestling if you let yourself enjoy it and not let others or dirt sheets dictate it. So again, thank you all for tuning in. And Walter, it's an extreme pleasure doing this with you. Again, I'm not one for ranking, but this so far has been very fun, and I love the fact so far. Now I got two dynamic lists to look back on when I look back at all my favorite moments and matches at the end of the year to come too. And how we'll do a top 10 come December versus a top 10 overall for the year. Folks, stay tuned. But in the meantime, go ahead.
I love the fact this reminds me of, remember when you play Street Fighter and you just go to every country and you fight someone that's like Japan, USR. I feel like that's what we do with the matches. We go to Mexico, Japan, America, Canada. We go everywhere.
Mexico.
So like I have fun with you, man. Exactly.
It's always fun. Europe. You name it, we've been there somewhere across all things wrestling, talking about it. And shout out to my friend Mary Jade, who
can't wait to
gold.
Some company do something in Africa. Come on.
Stuffing! And Jake Stuffing, get well soon. But yeah, again, it's extremely fun. I hope everyone had great fun here too. So again, get some food, get some rest, and we'll see you here literally just under 2 hours for our Elimination Chamber preview. But until then, let's enjoy live and enjoy wrestling. Make a positive impact in life, and have a good night. This has been the top 10 for Fairway, courtesy of Super Reliable. Have a good one, folks.
Good night, folks.
Arigato.
Yeah.
And subscribe.
I feel bad for Shinsuke. This was literally a father figure of his, so.
Just like Antonio Inoki, man. I mean, he literally assembled a Inokiism. The good ones go when you least expect it, but their legacy lives on forever. All right, hit the button, though, dude. Seriously.
Fuck cancer, though. All right, guys.
That I agree. That